Ladies and gentlemen, my name is
Scott.
Hey, yo. Is that his younger brother? It's gonna be
Jeff.
The cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
And you're listening to
all of the great action figures from our good friends at Hasbro.
The Fullyposeable.
Have your own WrestleMania with all your favorite figures.
Wrestling figure.
Each sold separately from LJN.
Podcast.
And we are the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling.
Hey, welcome to episode 531 of the Fullyposeable Wrestling Figure Podcast, longest running episodic wrestling figure podcast going today. My name is Jeff, and sitting alongside next to me is my real life brother, not storyline brother, Scott. Scott, say hello.
Hello.
Scott, what's going on, dude?
It is hot still, but today we're recording early this week, guys. I've got stuff going on the rest of this week, so I'm not able to do it later in the week. So we're recording early, but tomorrow, that would be Wednesday, which would now be 4 days in your rearview mirror. If you're listening to this on Sunday, I'm going to opening day between the Yankees and Giants. Baseball season is here, and I couldn't be happier.
You son of a... I'm still mad at my niece for not getting me a ticket. I don't care how much it costs. I'm still mad at her for not getting me a ticket.
I mean, you're a grown-ass man. You could buy your own ticket and just go with us.
No, she got you one. She got to get me one.
Apparently, Dad and Uncle have the same weight on her life scale.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like literally. I was like,
Jesus, no.
I was like, dude, I weigh more than you, like by far.
Well, if you do, muscle weighs more than fat, so that would be why you weigh more than I do.
Dude, this is turning into fat big time, dude. Middies are. Yeah. When I run, middies are hitting me. Legs are chafing. Yeah. I'm like that dude on The Office, nipple chafing. You know, where he's starting to bleed. You know, stuff like that. It's because I'm old.
You're going to have to buy a bro to keep those man titties in place.
Middies. Yes, it is still kind of warmish out here. It's kind of starting to settle a little bit. Out there in Tracy, it's probably, I'm going to probably guess 96.
Well, it's actually dropped down to 77 outside. It's cooled down quite a bit. At about 3:00 this afternoon, like it was right around 90. But yeah, it's 77 now. And you know what? Just for shits and giggles, let's check and see what the weather is going to be in San Francisco tomorrow night. Because the ballpark.
Just take a sweatshirt and make sure it's not like a super heavy sweatshirt, but make sure it's a heavier sweatshirt because that ballpark gets cold.
It gets really cold. It's right on the water. If you guys have never seen Oracle Park, beautiful baseball stadium. When the sun starts to go down, it's a 5:00 start tomorrow night. So we'll have like maybe an hour or so of sun. And then once that sun starts to go down, it's just a beautiful skyline. You're on the water. You're going to have garlic fries in front of you, maybe a crab sandwich. I really can't think of anything better. It's just going to be beautiful. But right now in San Francisco, and we'll be there tomorrow night around this time, it's 61.
Oh, perfect.
That's perfect. So t-shirt, hoodie, and my daughter with me. It's going to be just a great time. Judge is going to hit 2 bombs. Ben Rice is going to hit 1 out. Jazz Chisholm, he's going to hit 2 doubles, 4 RBIs. Plus, I've got all 3 of those guys on my fantasy team that we drafted this past weekend. But yeah, dude, I love baseball season. It's one of my favorite times of year. Draft day is probably right next to like Christmas and Thanksgiving, my favorite day of the year. Absolutely love it. We had so much fun. But yeah, so excited for baseball this season. Yankees are going to suck, but I don't care. It's baseball.
Draft day is also a really good football movie. Just saying. It's completely unrealistic, but for some reason you get wrapped up into it. Goddamn.
Is that the Kevin Costner was? Kevin Costner movie? Okay.
But anyways, you were talking about our draft this past week. We also got to see Tim, and Tim had a present for me and you.
Yes, he did.
So he got me a autographed picture of the Rock and Roll Express.
So awesome, dude. So when he gave me my stuff outside, he showed me what he was giving you. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude, Jeff's going to freaking love that.
Yep. And
great pick of them too.
I do love it. So thank you, Tim, for bringing that to the draft and giving that to us.
Yep. And Tim gave me the Ultimate Warrior that came with the IC title, the Legends figure from Target. It was like the best of series. It was the one of him in white. It was a re-release of his earlier Legends that came with the IC title. One of my favorite Warriors. but I wasn't able to find it in store or online on Target. And Tim hooked me up with that one. So thank you, Tim, for that. And Black Card LJN Dusty Rhodes. What a thing of beauty. I hadn't seen that one. I hadn't held it in hand yet. And now that I've got it, that's exactly what we would have gotten in 1989 from Grand Toys. So perfect. Loved it. Thank you so much, Tim.
And then just tonight, about 30 minutes before we started recording, my coworker Eric texted me and he found John Cena as Guile and Batista as Zagat from the Street Fighter figures.
It's a great spot by Eric.
Yeah, exactly. He's been my hookup lately. Of course, that dude's always running around looking for food or...
Oh, he's also going around looking for food and also going around looking for more food.
Did you try the eclairs that he brought or the cream puffs?
Yeah. As I stated at the draft, normally I'm a cream pie kind of guy.
I get it.
But the cream puffs were pretty damn tasty.
Yep. Can't get that cream puff pregnant. All right. If you would like to get in for our shirts, head on over to Pro Wrestling Tees or whatamaneuver.net. You can follow us on the Twitter, X, YouTube, Snapchat, and the Book of Faces at Fullyposeable, Instagram, Fullyposeable, WFP. You guys know where to find us. You guys know where to listen to us. And if you have any audio questions, or anything else at all, send it on over to Fullyposeable, WFP at gmail.com. Like this week, Scott, we have one from the great JT. Hey, Jeff and Scott, JT here with that listener segment question. This week, boys, I got a breakfast food question. Breakfast is one of my favorites. I'm all for this. I don't know how often you guys stop at diners, restaurants for breakfast, but when you do, what do you usually like to get? For me, I personally like a good breakfast sandwich or omelet. I know it's a sin to go to IHOP and not get their pancakes, but I really dig their breakfast burrito. Give it its flowers, boys. They put every breakfast item you can think of, eggs, cheese, sausage, hash brown, bacon into this thing and wrap it up in a nice little package. 10 out of 10 would try again. All right, Scott, when you go to a diner or when you go to a restaurant that is serving breakfast food, what do you usually get?
Hash browns. Hash browns are my starter. Anytime I'm deciding what I'm going to get for breakfast, that breakfast thing has to come with or contain hash browns. It's got to be a potato thing with me. Like I love mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, but when it comes to breakfast, got to be hash browns and they got to be crispy. Soggy hash browns are fine on occasion, but if I'm going to be super selective, super picky, crispy hash browns, a little bit of Tapatio, some ketchup, some salt, stir them things up. Oh, so good. That's where it kind of starts with me. I love biscuits and gravy. I love a good omelet with the side of hash browns. That is like king breakfast. Breakfast sandwiches are great, but dude, let me put you on to the breakfast crunch wrap at Taco Bell. If you've never had it, I mean, look, I'm already partial to Taco Bell anyway, right?
Right.
But my go-to for breakfast has always been the sausage egg McMuffin at McDonald's with a hash brown, of course. But Eddie from Drunk Wrestling History, now Drunk Wrestling News, put me onto the breakfast crunch wrap. And now there are times when I'm actually wanting to get out of bed before 10 o'clock just to go to Taco Bell to get that breakfast crunch wrap. The sausage one specifically is incredible. And it has a hash brown inside. Hash brown, egg, sausage, special sauce. Incredible. So good. It's like the perfect, like kind of like JT described the omelet. It's got everything you want inside of it. Same with that breakfast crunch wrap. I'm already like drooling talking about it. It sounds so good right now.
For me, regarding hash browns, if they're not crispy, I don't eat them. Like,
you won't do soggy, huh?
Nope, I can't do soggy. If they're crispy on top, I'll eat them. So a couple of diners that I've gone to, they're crispy on the top, crispy on the bottom, but it's like soggy in the middle. So I'll only eat the top and the bottom.
Okay.
So
it's like when you ate hot dogs as a kid, you didn't like them to have the grill marks on the hot dog. Yeah. If it had grill marks, you wouldn't touch it.
As much as I loved hot dogs when I was a kid, if they had that grill mark from the barbecue, trash, get them out of here. I wanted them microwaved, heated up a minute 30. That's all. Come on now.
They're so good off the grill and you're not eating them because they have the grill marks. I can't tell you how many times I saw mom or dad cutting the black grill marks off of your hot dog just so you'd eat the thing.
Speaking of breakfast, this question and talking about dad, this actually reminds me of when dad and I used to go to McDonald's breakfast.
That's right.
Every Saturday, dad would bring the newspaper. I'd read the sports page and dad would just be reading other stuff. And I would have 2 breakfast burritos and 2 sausage McMuffin, no egg. I would always have that in front of me.
Can you say that one more time for those that might have missed your breakfast when you were how old?
So this is when I was about 10, 11.
Okay, so you're 10 or 11 years old. Please repeat your McDonald's breakfast order, Jeff.
So it used to be 2 sausage McMuffin, no egg, and 2 breakfast burritos.
2 breakfast burritos.
Because their breakfast burritos are money. If I wasn't in the mood for sausage McMuffin, no egg, it would be 4 breakfast burritos. Mm-hmm.
Apparently 4 was your magic number of breakfast foods.
Yeah, it was.
It had to come in segments of 4.
When I got into my 20s, it was 3 and 3, but hey, anyways.
Oh, dude. That's impressive. But you know what? I can't talk shit. When it was me going at that age, it was 2 sausage McMuffin with egg and 2 hash browns and a large Coke. That would be breakfast for me.
Yeah, but that's happy memories. Dad would get his coffee, and I can't remember if Dad would get any food. Sometimes he would get a pancake or something from McDonald's. That's
awesome. And I don't know if you remember this, but we had a breakfast tradition before you and Dad were doing the McDonald's thing, is we would get up Sunday morning and we'd go to breakfast. And it would change sometimes, but we got into a rhythm when Squeezers, which was a hamburger place in San Leandro, when they were open, I'd say they were open maybe 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. Every single Sunday, we would load us up all into the car, drive to Squeezers, and it was hamburgers for breakfast. And then we owned a laundromat at the time. We talked about this when we talked about the Disneyland arcade, and Mom and Dad would have rolls of quarters, and Squeezers had an arcade and a sticker machine, which I'll get to in a minute. And they'd give us the roll of quarters and off we'd go to the arcade. And it was cool because the arcade was actually this trailer that was backed up to the building. And part of the trailer was the arcade. And they probably had, 8 to 10 games in there.
Yeah.
But they had a sticker machine. In fact, one of the games I know was Dig Dug. Another one was Spy Hunter. Another one was Karate Champ. Mm-hmm. And I think at one point they had Rolling Thunder as well for you arcade nerds that remember those obscure games like I do. Rolling Thunder, look it up. They had a sticker machine in there, Jeff. And I'm sure you know where I'm going with this.
I sure do.
At one point, they had those old foil wrestling stickers in there.
Yep.
And I must have pumped $7 in that thing just to pull the Road Warriors. And somewhere in the garage is a little envelope full of those stickers.
Please find those.
I'll try. You actually had some on your dresser in your old room at Mom and Dad's house.
Now that dresser is here, there are some on there. I haven't looked at that in a long time. I remember a lot of Garbage Pail Kids like Snotty Scotty and Junkie Jeff. I think those were on there.
But you had some of those foil stickers on there. And I want to say one of them was maybe Mr. T or Mr. T and Hogan.
I don't know if that one's still on there. There was also baseball stickers.
Gotcha. Well, somewhere in the garage, I've got those foil stickers. And just good memories. That's a great question by JT. Look at the rabbit hole it sent us down. Now we're talking breakfast foods on a wrestling figure podcast that also discusses baseball and fantasy drafts for baseball. But Anyway, great memories of those mornings, just getting up. And I remember one morning I was such an asshole. I don't like to wake up in the mornings. I really don't. If I wake up on a Sunday or a Saturday morning early, it's because I have to. I'm a sleeper. Always have been. Well, one morning, wake up Sunday, the family's all excited to go to breakfast, everybody but me. And I'm grumbling and pissing and moaning and bitching about it. And Dad goes, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. If you're going to complain about it, we're not going to go anymore. And I was like, oh, this sucks. No more arcade. Plus their burgers were really damn good. And they had an on-site bakery that had pies.
Yeah.
Then the pies were hella good. I was crushed. I'm like, oh man, all my favorite foods. But then Mom lit into me. And she literally pulled me aside and she goes, you ruined this for everybody. I hope you're happy with yourself.
Mom did?
And I was like, oh yeah. No, Mom was mad. Mom loves Squeezers, dude. She liked their burgers. And I was getting in the way of her Sunday morning burger. And she wasn't having any of it. And she pulled me aside and she lit me up. And I went and apologized to Dad. And Squeezers was back on the schedule again. But dude, I never complained again. When it was time to get up to go to Squeezers, boom, blah, I was up. I was dressed. I put on my parachute pants, my purple Mr. T hoodie, and we were out the door.
Real quick, my breakfast, my go-to is eggs, bacon, toast, and depending on where I go, I will get a waffle. Now, There's a place out here in Alameda called Ollie's or Ollie's. So their waffles are similar to Waffle House, but Ollie's or Ollie's, however you pronounce it, their waffle is, again, it's similar, but their flavor is on steroids. The flavor in their waffles just hits the palate right, man. It is so good.
I got to try this place.
Long story long, I'll cut this down real quick. When I first moved to Alameda, I went there and it was okay. I mean, it was all right. Like, just didn't think anything of it, right? Ended up going back there a year ago. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if my taste buds developed in 16 years or whatever it is, or 17, 18 years, however long.
They got a little more advanced.
Dude, I tried it and I was like, I am having trouble going to another breakfast spot in Alameda because of how good this is.
I got to get a look at this Warlock. I need to try this place out, dude.
All right. Are you ready for the WrestleCon list that is continually growing? The new notable names: Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz, Desmond Xavier, Myron Reed, Barry Windham. Scott, that led to another question. Yep. Madison Rain, the Boogeyman, Brian Myers, Nick Wayne, Dean Malenko, Mario Mancini, Jojo Offerman, the Young Stallions, Jim Powers, and Paul Roma, Penelope Ford as well. Those are the new notable names for WrestleCon.
So tell me why I almost want to jump in the car and drive to WrestleCon just for the Young Stallions.
I don't think it would be just the Young Stallions. I think, honestly, if you went, it would be Don Morocco, Young Stallions. You would want to maybe think about getting your Kerry Von Erich redone in paint.
Kevin Von Erich.
Sorry, Kevin. I apologize. Kevin in redone in paint. And then I think you would be so satisfied. And then you'd be, well, you may not want to drive with gas prices as expensive as it is, but.
Yeah, well, even flying, I don't want to wait in those lines or pay those prices because those are all through the roof right now too. So, yeah, I mean, it's still out for me, but man, I saw the Young Stallions on that list and I'm like, why couldn't it have been last year? Because I'm pretty sure Roma was there last year.
Roma was.
But Jim Powers was not. And now it's both of them. So I'm like, I think I need to start putting a little list together for, like, maybe Jeff, if you wouldn't mind taking this for me, and here's some money, and please get this signed for me. Right now, it's just the headbangers because pricing broke on the headbangers, and they're like 25 each.
Yeah,
for autographs, 25 each.
Now we don't know if there's going to be any upcharge when we get to the table. There's always that surprise element that could be waiting for us.
The WrestleCon Carney code,
exactly. But as of right now, Scott looked it up, and it's 25 each.
Yep. So WrestleCon's website, WrestleCon.com, if you go on there, they have a cheat sheet that's got everybody that's appearing announced so far, which days they're appearing, and if available, if it's been announced by the talent, what their pricing is for photo, auto, or combo. So if you go onto WrestleCon's site, you can find that cheat sheet now. I looked it up, and yeah, headbangers right now are 25 each for auto. And I'm like, man, if I can get that set signed for 50, that's a deal, because then I could put it next to the Dudleys and the Hardys. That's a nice little set right there, kind of all attitude arid out. But now I'm like, man, the Young Stallions, I think they're 40, 40, 60. And I'd pay $80 to get a turnbuckle thing signed by the Young Stallions if they've got one.
I don't know if they would have a turnbuckle, but you may have to send me with Nate's turnbuckle that he got you, the WWF one.
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that. That's a hell of an idea.
Every once in a while.
Damn. That's smart, dude.
Because I don't know if they would have I honestly don't think they would have a Young Stallions turnbuckle. We both love the turnbuckles, but not everybody gets a turnbuckle. It's not like Oprah going, you get a turnbuckle, you get, stuff like that. However, you do have a WWF turnbuckle pad that is accessible to you.
That's right. I didn't even consider that, but that's a good call, dude.
Were the Young Stallions ever on a WWF magazine?
I don't think they were.
Okay.
Let me look it up real quick. I don't think they graced the cup. Not when you had that roster they had for Golden Era. You're telling me you're going to not put like Randy Savage or Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior on the cover. You're going to put the Young Stallions.
Sometimes they put some interesting names on there, so you never know.
Let's see. Okay, I'm going into Google Images, and I put Young Stallions WWF magazine. And I do not see a cover with them on it. Now, Too Cool did make a cover, but unfortunately, no, it does not look like the Young Stallions ever graced the cover of a WWF magazine. Another good idea, but I'm liking that turnbuckle idea a lot. That would actually fit perfectly, like in my little little piece of wall there that I've been putting the other ones on, that would fit nicely right there. Well, you know what sucks is we have not yet gotten the figures of them.
No, we haven't.
Well, no, we've got a Paul Roma from Zombie.
Well, okay, yes, but we're talking about the Young Stallions together.
The Young Stallions together, yes. Retro or BRG, right? Yep. They're going to be made both ways. We just don't have them in hand yet. And it sucks because here we are a month away and they're going to be at WrestleCon signing autographs, in addition to some other names that you're coming up that have figures upcoming that we don't have in hand yet.
I'm not going to read the list. Just go to WrestleCon and download that cheat sheet that Scott just mentioned. Just go do that, please.
Yeah, go do that. That's the whole list. Did you already say Mario Mancini?
Yes, I did say Mario Mancini.
Oh, Young Stallions were your main event?
Well, Penelope Ford. She was the last one on the list.
Gotcha. Okay. So there was one more name that just got announced in like the last hour, Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Yeah, just go download the cheat sheet because if I read this, it's taking me like 2 minutes. That's even fast voice to get through this list. So
yeah, it's a little insane.
WrestleCon.com, go download the cheat sheet.
Yeah, just name a wrestler. They're going to be at WrestleCon.
Scott, we did have a passing this past week in the world of wrestling. Dennis Condry passed away. Everything I've heard about him, he was a really nice guy. Everybody has come out and said how great of a guy he actually was. Just a sweetheart of a guy. We never got the opportunity to meet him, right. But yeah, Dennis Condry passed away.
So another name. How long have we been clamoring for Midnight Express figures?
Technically, we did get them from Figure Toy Company.
We did. Yes. Like within the last, 3 years? I think that they came out, that set of Midnight Express.
Yeah.
So we finally got the first Dennis Condry figure ever in 2023, 2024.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Unbelievable. A guy that's one half of arguably the greatest tag team of all time, the Midnight Express. At least they're on like 90% of the Mount Rushmores of the old heads like us. If you do a Mount Rushmore of tag teams, if the Midnight Express isn't on there, you're doing something wrong. Mm-hmm. And Dennis Condry was one half of that. And he's got one figure to his name. And that sucks. Here's another gripe. The Midnight Express are not in the WWF Hall of Fame.
Correct.
That sucks too. They just announced Sid today, and Sid passed away, within like the last year, 2 years?
Yeah.
Why are we waiting? Get these guys in while they're here. Let them have their moment. I don't understand why the push isn't there to get these guys that are at that age, get them into the Hall of Fame while they're here. Let's celebrate them and have them be a part of the moment instead of all this, oh, they've already passed, but here, now they're in the Hall. That sucks. It's not the same. It's really not.
Beautiful Bobby ran that tag team. And then when Sweet Stan came in, that just complimented Beautiful Bobby. I was never a Condry fan. He was just, again, it was just like that team just revolved around Beautiful Bobby when it was then too. When it became Sweet Stan, it was just poetry in motion with them too.
I agree with you 100%. That was the better version of the Midnight Express.
But Condry did leave his stamp on one of the greatest tag teams ever. So his thumbprint was on that tag team. And then he went off to the AWA and started the new Midnight Express.
Yes. And I'll be honest, I was not a fan of Randy Rose and Dennis Condry as a team. They didn't do it for me at all. Yeah. But I mean, I was a Midnight Express kid, so like good luck competing with that. Mm-hmm. But that's why I'll always have that love for Condry, is because he was the original guy in Midnight Express when I started watching. So that was my version of the Midnight Express. Lane, definitely a better addition to the team. But like you said, Condry left his stamp on that team, made his mark, and will always be like the OG. It's Condry and Eaton. And I think it sucks that they're not in the Hall of Fame. I think it sucks he was not here, even if they were going into the Hall of Fame this year, that he wouldn't be here to enjoy it. I think this really puts an onus on WWE. Of course, they're not going to do it. But get those guys that are at that age into the Hall. If there's any possible chance of them getting in, just do it so they're here so we can all enjoy that moment with them. And also, more Condry figures, please. I don't care if it's retro, 6-inch scale, superstar scale, Remco, whatever, more Condry figures. I think the Midnight Express needs to be celebrated way more than they're being celebrated. Same for the Rock and Roll Express. So that's my gripe. And you talk about clinics in tag team wrestling. the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express, those are textbook teaching manuals for tag team wrestling today.
When you think about tag team wrestling of the 80s, you think of the feuds that went on, the Bulldogs versus the Hearts. You think of Rock and Roll versus Midnight. And then you think about Midnight Rockers against Doug Summers and Playboy Buddy Rose. Like each organization had their own staple of like the headliner of tag team wrestling. And Condry played a big part into Rock and Roll and Midnights.
It's a great point you bring up, Jeff.
Yeah, WWF had all these great tag teams. When you went over to NWA, the feud that always got you was the Midnights versus the Rock and Roll.
And those tag team matches between both of those teams that you mentioned, Jeff, could headline a card. Crockett could put the Midnights and Rock and Roll Express in a territory, and they could headline a card, while like Ric Flair headlined another card somewhere else. And that's what Vince did with his guys. Hogan would headline a card over here, but his tag team division was so good with the Bulldogs and the Hearts, he could have them headline a card in another territory. And so you're right. The tag teams of that era, and not to take anything away from the Rockers and Summers and Rose, but those tag teams were so good and built up so well that they could headline their own cards. And I mean, today, tag teams headlining a card, I mean, WrestleMania in 2023 in LA with the Usos versus Zayn and Owens. That's about it.
And technically, if you think about it, FTR versus the Young Bucks, they could have had an argument to headline their last show of AEW Revolution.
Okay.
Because that match, from everything I'm reading, is fantastic and like already being considered match of the year.
What the Usos did at WrestleMania a few years ago with KO and Sami Zayn, that was years in the making. That was a slow build for many, many years. It took a long time to get to the point where WrestleMania would be headlined by a tag team main event. Right. Whereas in the 80s, all you needed was one Saturday and boom, the next week you could have those two teams after that build on Saturday go headline a card, because they just built those guys so well in the 80s. And I hate the saying, but it kind of applies here, that Dennis Condry walked so FTR could run.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. So RIP to Dennis Condry. That leaves just one Midnight Express member left.
Technically two, if you're counting Cornette.
If you count Cornette, yeah. I keep hoping Stan Lane's name pops up on WrestleCon. Like, yeah, I'm just kind of sitting there because that's the last autograph I need on that Midnight Express 2-pack from Jax. It's the last one I need, just the last one. Bobby's signature is messed up because he slid his thumb over the B, so there's a chunk of the B missing. And no, it's not because of the paint pen. It was because Bobby ran his thumb over it. So, anyways,
damn. Would you have Corny sign that? I think you should. If he ever came around, I would have him sign that.
Yeah, it'd be a game time decision.
He won't come out this way. You'd have to go that way.
I'd have to go to Tennessee, dude.
Yeah, or I don't know, like his traveling radius, but yeah, I don't think he's ever going to come to WrestleCon, but fingers crossed Stan Lane does.
Exactly. Real quick, Scott, did you pick up anything?
I did. I broke, dude. I wasn't going to do it. And then Steve Hoker in our Facebook little group posted that Zombie was releasing more stock on those Road Warriors, the retros, like that NWA look with the black shoulder pads.
Yep.
And I debated, and I was like, I saw them, and when I went on to look at them, they were already sold out. So it kind of made the decision easier for me. But now that the stock is back in, and I went back and looked at them again, I'm like, you know what? I got to get them.
Nice.
So I bought the Zombie Road Warrior figures. Happy belated birthday to me. They were expensive, but I mean, I don't really buy retros all that often. It's got to be a special thing. And so I went ahead and bought the Zombie ones.
Perfect, dude.
That was my big boy purchase.
Good for you, dude. Good for you. I'm happy for you. If I'm not mistaken, they got the chain that goes between the vests or on the vest and stuff. Yeah, nice, dude.
Yeah, a lot of detail. They look killer. So excited to have them in the collection.
Nice, man. Nice. I've basically mentioned what I got. That was because thankfully Eric found those Street Fighter figures, or else I wouldn't have anything. So
that's awesome.
All right, let's get into pre-orders for the month of March. Oh, yes, I did pick up something. For Collect Major, it's One Man Gang, Sergeant Slaughter with a helmet, and Sergeant Slaughter hat is the Evergreen figure. However, I did pre-order the One Man Gang.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Pre-orders up on Big Bad Toy Store for Boss Fight Studio, Dragon Lee, Roosh, Solaire, and Ultimo Dragon. Those are up on Big Bad Toy Store. Grapplers and Gimmicks Hassle Toys, Raven Regium, and Ahmed Johnson Regium. The Regiums are the 6-inch line. We'll be talking about more Regiums coming up here shortly. So do a Google search for Hassle Toys or Grapplers and Gimmicks. FC Toys, shop.figurecollections.com. ICP is up for pre-order. So if you are an ICP fan or a JCW fan, you would definitely want these retros. That is the Insane Clown Posse Retro 2-pack. And KWK March pre-order Shelton Benjamin. But if you are part of the club, it is WrestleCon bound Mario Mancini. So Shelton Benjamin, you can pre-order anywhere. Different looks, different hairstyles. But if you're part of the club, you can get Mario Mancini. That is KWK March pre-order.
And maybe get it signed next year at WrestleCon.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's jump into that news. Nerd closets, whatever. Matt Maniacs. Mr. Fuji was shown off. That goes with Demolition.
Yes, it does. And Nerd's Closet actually has a similar look Road Warriors to what Zombie did. Mm-hmm. Not as much detail, but the same look. They also have the Road Warriors up there. If you missed out on Zombies or you didn't want to pay the price, Nerd's Closet a little bit cheaper. Not the same amount of detail, but still cool looking figures if you're into that specific kind of cartoonish look. Whereas Zombies are a little more realistic. Yep. Nerd's Closet kind of maintains that cartoony look with their figures. And their Danhausen is killer, by the way. Every time I see an ad for it, I'm like, stop showing me this. I don't want to buy a Danhausen retro.
Yes, you do.
And then I do. Yeah. Like, I'm cursed.
Funko just shown off today. Kurt Angle with cowboy hat and a little guitar. That
specifically a little cowboy hat, Jeff.
A little cowboy hat, similar to when him and Austin were running around during their injuries and making us all laugh. So that is the Funko Kurt Angle figure. I mentioned Grapplers and Gimmicks earlier. Their other Regium that they just showed off, or I should say Mitch just showed off, Dean Douglas Regium. That will go with your 1995 Detolf. If you guys are keeping era-specific Detolfs up there, you can get Dean Douglas.
That's nuts. I didn't think we'd ever get a Dean Douglas figure.
Neither did I, dude. Neither did I.
I mean, you're going like super deep cuts with these. Super deep cuts.
Yeah, Dean Douglas wouldn't be in my eyes, it wouldn't be super deep cut.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, Brutus Beefcake in his fur attire, whatever that was.
What was that?
I don't know what that was, but that would be a deep cut. But I don't know. Dean Douglas had a cup of coffee in WWF, only there for a sec. Like, that's a pretty obscure figure, and I love it. I think it's great because there are people who want those specific holes in their collection filled, where they're trying to do a shelf of a specific era or year, and that figure is going to go perfect on somebody's shelf.
All right. Mattel, John Cena figure with different armbands. So what is this? So this is from My Damn Toys. The last time is now Ultimate Edition John Cena figure mix-up and adjustment came from a mistake made by the wardrobe team in WWE. John Cena revealed that he wore his SummerSlam 2025 armbands in his last match ever with Gunther because they were the ones in his dressing room the night of the match. This means that the original figure by Mattel had to be adjusted all because of a random WWE employee dropped off the wrong armbands to John Cena for his final match. The good thing is Mattel is including both sets of armbands with the last time is now John Cena Ultimate Edition.
I think we can all say that we're happy Jax doesn't have the line anymore because Jax would not have done that at all. They would have just gone in and like repainted something and said, oh, Chinese New Year and kept it moving.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Mattel's going that extra mile because this is, as we kind of talked about last week with Cena figures, this is a very, very special Cena figure that a lot of collectors are going to hold near and dear. So they're really going that extra mile for this thing. And I really appreciate it. You know, they didn't have to make that change. They could have just been like, oh, sorry, it was already done. But they're going to make it. And I think us collectors are better off for it. So thank you, Mattel.
Scott, are you ready for more Power Town saga?
Jeff, I am always here for Power Town drama.
Usually, drama. Usually, I end the news out with WWE. Well, I couldn't this time because of the Powertown saga. So, somebody put out on Facebook, I received a message from Magnum TA this afternoon. I reached out to him to find out when my order was going to ship. And if it wasn't going to be anytime soon, then I respectfully request a refund for my outstanding orders.
You know, from 2 years ago?
Magnum TA replied that I'd have to reach out to Steve Rosenthal, as he, Magnum TA, and Greg Gagne are no longer associated with the company.
Why didn't we get an email about that? There's been a restructuring. We didn't get an email.
Oh, there's more restructuring. This person finished up his message with, anyone know how to contact Rosenthal? Steve Rosenthal replied. Oh, he replied to somebody. It says Marcus, but this guy's name was Scott Lone. Okay, whatever. So Steve replied, no, I am not the sole one involved now. In the best interest of our customers, Powertown is restructuring.
In the best interest of our customers. I'm glad they have our well-being at the right at the front of their thoughts. Thank you, Powertown.
Powertown is restructuring its management team. A Hasbro executive has joined the team, and we anticipate a major announcement shortly.
Oh, really?
Regarding the internal change app, I don't know what that is. Change SPP. While we've said this multiple times before, all orders will be fulfilled.
If we have the rights to them, cut, copy, and paste.
All right, Scott, you can't let your blood pressure get any higher, so we have to stop talking about this.
Another restructuring. I can't believe it. That was the big announcement. Another restructuring. Are you shocked as I am, guys? Like that's crazy.
Yep. So that is another addition to the Powertown saga. So,
but rest assured, we're getting our figures. Oh, yes, we're getting our figures.
I'm kind of curious what these figures are going to look like now, because like they've got to be the most perfect figures. If they're taking this long on them, they must be the most beautiful figures ever produced.
Yeah, these are going to be the Emelina of figures. Absolutely beautiful, and then they never appear.
So that is the latest Powertown update regarding Greg Gagne and Magnum TA.
All right, so they're out. Rosenthal's still in, but not the guy. Somebody from Hasbro. Rest assured, we're getting our figures. Blah, blah, blah. And no refunds. Got it.
So how you feeling about it?
Same as I always have. Fuck you, Powertown.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe we should show a little empathy towards them.
No, we shouldn't.
No, we shouldn't.
They don't deserve empathy. That's the bottom line.
Nope. And we've said it time and time again. Communication is everything with these indie, smaller companies. And when you don't do that, you've burned your bridge. Good luck getting anybody to buy your product from here on out. Good luck.
Their name is tainted right now.
Oh, yeah. You order with confidence from Major, KWK, Zombie. Name another, Hastel. Name them. Order from them freely. Be confident you're going to get your product. These guys, nah. They've burned their bridge with at least every collector I know.
Well, that's the latest from Powertown.
Good job, you guys. Well done. Another restructuring. Who would have guessed that?
All right, Scott, we are going to round out the show with WWF in Your House. What was WWF in Your House? Is a video game for the PlayStation, Sega Saturn, and DOS. Developed by Sculptured Software, is a follow-up to WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, and was published by Acclaim Entertainment, who had previously released WrestleMania for home consoles. Just like WrestleMania in Your House is not a wrestling game in the normal sense, as it is heavily influenced by Mortal Kombat. It features digitized sprites of the wrestlers and many over-the-top unrealistic and magical moves and taunts by the wrestlers. The game also features finishing moves which are performed before the final pin. Instead of a typical wrestling arena, WWF in Your House featured personalized stages for each individual wrestler, such as a nightclub for Shawn Michaels, Stu Hart's dungeon for Bret Hart, and a crypt for The Undertaker. The 10 playable wrestlers in the game include Bret Hart, Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels, all returning from WrestleMania, as well as additions Owen Hart, the British Bulldog, Goldust, Ahmed Johnson, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who would all return for 1998's WWF Warzone, which was one of the worst video games ever.
Ugh.
Vader, and the Ultimate Warrior, who was fired prior to release due to contract disputes. In-game commentary supplied by Vince McMahon and Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. So, Scott, what do you think about this game?
Knowing what it was, well, first off, I bought this game at the video game store, and I don't remember the name of the store, but it was inside of Southland Mall, and it was by the food court. And this would have been 96, 97.
That was the one that it wasn't a Babbage's or Electronics Boutique. It was another one, right?
Yeah, it was another name for it, and I can't remember the name of the video game store. It was one of those random ones that popped up and was gone in a year or 6 months.
I know which one you're talking about.
It was by the food court at Southland. That's where I bought this game, and I kind of walked in and saw it, and I was kind of hemming and hawing on. I was like, game time decision. We'll see. And then I looked at and it had Ultimate Warrior on it. I was looking at the cover, and I was like, I'm buying it. It's got Ultimate Warrior. And if you know anything about me, in the mid 90s, especially like right around WrestleMania 12, up to the point and a little bit after that he was fired, huge Ultimate Warrior mark. Huge. I was calling his hotline for news on the guy. Okay. I was buying his comic books. I was fully immersed in the Ultimate Warrior. So when I saw him on the cover, I'm like, I'm buying it. And essentially at the end of the day, we got it home. It was a reskin of WrestleMania. I knew what it was when I bought it. It had some playability. It was still cool. If you enjoyed WrestleMania, you were going to enjoy this. It just didn't, I don't know, maybe because WrestleMania was new and it was using that Mortal Kombat feel and just putting wrestlers in its place. When it first came out, WrestleMania, it was exciting because it was different. And then they gave it to you again and you're like, it's almost like when you've worked all day, and you're hot outside and you're hot and you come in and you want something to drink, you get a nice big glass of lemonade. Oh, that first one is so good. And maybe I'll have another one. And the second glass is just kind of okay. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how In Your House was. That first glass of lemonade after a hot day outside, that was WrestleMania Arcade. That second glass is just kind of okay. Still good, but I'm not enjoying it as much. That was In Your House. But it had the Ultimate Warrior, so it had to come home. And we did play it, but in terms of playability and how often we had people over or just you and I playing video games, Jeff, WrestleMania the Arcade was like 90% of our mass playing at that time. In Your House, maybe 15.
In Your House was more of a, hey, everybody's over, so we'll pop it on. And then eventually we get bored of it, and then we'd switch over to another game. Maybe NHL or something like that.
Or NBA Jam.
Charles
Barkley, Shut Up and Jam. General Chaos.
General Chaos, yes.
Saturday Night Slam Masters.
Well, this was on the PlayStation. So think 1996 games. So we were playing some NHL all the time. We were playing a lot of NHL. Games.
Yeah.
A lot of the EA games. So, but I do give them credit for introducing new stages. I thought that was creative.
Like the environments.
The environments of Shawn Michaels nightclub, Stu's dungeon, stuff like that. Kudos to them on that. That was creative, but it just, I don't know. It didn't have the same shine as WrestleMania did.
Agree. It was that newness to it. Mm-hmm. Right. And then you got it again because this really was just a re-release of WrestleMania with an updated roster. Yeah, there were more names, but it definitely didn't make it more fun. It was just more of the same. And like you said, there was so much competition for video games at the time. You're like, this one kind of got glossed over.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I remember too is it was our graduation. Remember, we shared a graduation, my high school, your college graduation.
That's right. Yes.
We had a house full of people over, including all of our friends, but we were upstairs most of the time playing video games. And I remember specifically playing WWF In Your House. Like, Nathan was playing, you were playing, I was playing. We were all just sitting upstairs. We had all of our friends packed into that little room and just playing video games. We didn't mingle with many people that showed up for our graduation because we were too busy playing video games. Now I feel like an ass, but at the same time, it brings back a memory. I remember all of us in that room playing that game specifically.
Now, if you had never, say we didn't have WrestleMania the Arcade first, say this was their first shot at blending WWF with like Mortal Kombat, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Yes and no.
You think?
There was something about WrestleMania, even though it was in one environment, it was just a ring.
Just a ring.
But there was something about it that just stood out and made it memorable and how fun it was. And maybe it was because there was the Disneyland story attached to it.
Maybe.
Maybe because it was you and I sitting upstairs when you got home from work and you and I were playing it. But we played it for a long time. You could pick 2 players and go through and try to win belts or something like that, go through a tournament, and you guys were working together. So there's those memories that stick out with WrestleMania. I don't know if we would have gotten that within your house
without the arcade experience tied to it and just being a home port.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it definitely wouldn't have had the same flavor. I think that was a big part of WrestleMania's magic, as you kind of put it, was having that arcade experience first and then being able to play it at home.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it just dropped as a home port. There was no build really for it to go play it in an arcade first and then can't wait for the home port. There wasn't any of that, So yeah, it just, I don't know. To me, it fell kind of flat. I mean, yeah, we played it for a little while, but it definitely did not have that same flavor as WrestleMania, the arcade.
Are you saying home port or whore port?
Home, Home, port, Port.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
Shout out to Ethan, because there was a little text exchange between Ethan and I that I had to share with Jeff about mishearing things that were said about names. And I'm not going to share it with you guys. I don't have permission to do it, but it was hilarious. You had to be there.
It's like when you mishear lyrics in songs, right?
Exactly. Yes. Excuse me while I kiss this guy.
Yes, that one. All right. So they only did one review, GameSpot. For the Sega Saturn, they gave it 4.5 out of 10. For the PlayStation 1, they give it 5.9 out of 10. That's
brutal. That's a little harsh, I think.
I would have given it a 6.2, maybe 6.3.
Well, we haven't gotten there yet. What scores we're going to give it?
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Stop being a spoiler.
And for DOS, it was 5.6 out of 10. WWF In Your House was a low-profile release. At the time, Acclaim Entertainment was suffering from financial losses, layoffs, and an investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission, and was pinning most of its hopes on the N64 game Turok, Dinosaur Hunter.
Womp womp.
Perhaps as a result, WWF In Your House was largely ignored by critics. GamePro only reviewed the PlayStation version in high-profile gaming publications such as Electronic Gaming Monthly and IGN, and even the official Sega Saturn magazine did not review it at all. GamePro called it a title full of promises and potential that ultimately gets pinned in its quest for the championship. They particularly criticized that matches are over too quickly and compared the game unfavorably to Power Move Pro Wrestling, which came out at the same time. Oh, maybe we should do that game too.
We had that one. I think we might have played that more than this one.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Jeff Kitts of GameSpot gave the PlayStation version a 5.9 out of 10. He said the action is solid, but overly derivative of Mortal Kombat. Well, that's kind of what WrestleMania was. So
that is exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
They were following the formula. So I can't.
And they weren't trying to hide it. I mean, it was clearly a mirror of it. So whatever, we were still buying it.
And that the selection of modes offers no true variety. GameSpot's Jeff Gertzman gave the Saturn version a 4.5 out of 10, calling it a little more than a rehash of the original. Both GamePro and Gertzman criticized that the gameplay involves little more than pounding the buttons as rapidly as possible, and the style in general is more akin to a fighting game than a true wrestling game. GameSpot's Chris Hudak gave the DOS version a 5.6 out of 10, generally ridiculing the wrestling concept. So those were the reviews regarding the game.
I don't know. I think they're a little bit harsh. If you ask me what I'm giving it out of 10, I'm going to go like a 6.8. I think being down in the 4s and the 5s and the low 6s is just too harsh. I mean, it wasn't a horrible game. And again, if we didn't have WrestleMania the arcade first, and they just kind of did this as I'll call it an homage and not a ripoff of Mortal Kombat. But again, the fact that it dropped as a home port, I think I would be a little more favorable towards it. But the fact that it was just a reskin and we have kind of already done WrestleMania the arcade to death, this just lost a lot of flavor when it came out. So yeah, I'll go high 6s on it and just leave it there.
I kind of tipped my hand. I'm giving it a 6.2. I won't go 5s because it did what it was supposed to do. Also, I mentioned the horror port. I don't know if you knew this story, but I'll just it's a dad story. So I'll kind of tell it to the listeners. But dad had been taking care of mom and Scott. Both you and mom had the flu. And for some reason, dad and I didn't catch it.
It's like the late 80s, right?
Yep, exactly. Yep. Actually, it was, I want to say mid to early 80s because I was a youngin'.
Oh, really? Because I remember like late 80s, I was in like 9th grade and mom had the flu really bad. And then I got it. And I went and I told her, I was like, Mom, I'm not feeling good. It was like a school morning. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not feeling good. She's like, you're just trying to get out of school. Go to school. By second period, dude, I was like sweating. I was feeling like shit. And I called her and she was so sick. She had to send grandma and grandpa to get me. This was like early 89, late 89. So I'm wondering if that's the time frame you're talking about here.
So this was earlier. I want to say
it was like, earlier than that. I don't remember.
I want to say 5 or 6, but you and mom both were down in the flu and dad was taking care of you, both of you at the same time. And dad had to get out of the house because he was tired. And so he was going to go to the Oakland airport and just watch planes take off. And I go, Dad, can I go with you? Because you could walk into the airport at this time and just watch planes take off.
It was the 80s, man. Times are different.
Right. So I asked Dad, can I go with you? And he goes, yeah, sure. So Dad and I went to the airport and all we did was just watch planes take off. That was it. So we got back and mom was getting ready to go to bed, but she saw Dad and I walk into the house. And as we're walking up the steps, mom looks and she goes, Jeffrey, where'd you go? I was all, went to the horror port.
Oh,
mom looks at Dad and she goes, where did you take him? And Dad's like, oh, this little bastard.
I didn't even get to go there because I had the kid with me. I had to go to the airport instead.
Mom goes, Jeffrey, where did you go? And I was all, the horror port. And Dad goes, Jeffrey, say airport. And I was all, horror port. So anyways, that was a fun dad story that I wanted to share. So when you said what you said earlier, and I said horror port, and I said horror port, that's what it took me back to, was that day dad taken. So anyways, wanted to share that story. Also, check out our buddies over at TB Toycast with Brian and Travis. Love those guys. Positively Pro Wrestling Podcast with Steve and Eric. Legendary Wrestling Figures with Brian. That wonderful, wonderful man. Can't say enough good things about him. Also, Trivia with Buds with Ryan Buds. If you guys are looking to do any trivia, like if you're part of a fun club at your work, kind of similar to what they did in The Office. You remember that, where they were part of the fun committee it was the fun committee. It was all the girls.
I don't remember that episode. We watched it like 6 years ago, dude.
Okay. So I kind of took a break on The Office because I've been watching Ted and Reggie Dinkins. But anyways, the girls were part of a fun committee and that went on for a very long time. So anywho, if you're part of a fun committee as well at work, go ahead and just hit up Ryan Buds and he can do a trivia for your company. So check that out. We can
confirm you will have a blast. His trivias are so much fun.
Yep. Work the Hour podcast with Jeff and Jamie. Pod subject to change. Chick Foley show with Seth, Sheena, and Marco. Love you guys. And EJ and Rucker doing boot to the face. And that rounds out our podcasting buddies. Scott, for episode 531.
Nice callback.
Anything else?
Stay safe, stay healthy. Fig Life since 2016. Happy toy hunting. Be good to each other out there. And I have a surgical procedure on Thursday. So if this is my last Fullyposeable show,
don't you even.
I love you guys. Thank you for everything.
If
I'm back next week, I still love you guys and still thank you for everything.
Don't you even, dude. Don't you even.
I don't know, dude. You never know.
No. Dad made it through. You're going to make it through on that one. Dad had the same procedure done back in December. I apologize. Dad had the same procedure done back in December. He made it out. You're going to make it out. Don't even effing go there. Don't even.
In case I don't, I just want you guys
to
know.
You stop it right now.
I'll stop it right now.
You son of a bitch. Don't you even. Are you going to do the Shawn Michaels? I'm sorry, I love you. I want to thank everybody for listening to episode 531. And if you son of a bitch, Scott, you better not. We do love you guys out there. We want to thank you for tuning in. Adios. Oh, by the way, 569 to 1,000. Sorry, 469. I've lost count.
69.
Son of a bitch. Adios.
Yeah. Fullyposeable. Let's go. Jeff and Scott, the Toon Brothers, busting out the ring. But we don't take it out the box, MOC. Happy toy hunting, we'll see you next week. We're the OGs of WFP. Fullyposeable, thank you all for listening. It ain't no storyline, real life siblings. So everybody go and do your toy spotting. #FigLife, adios from the Kings.